All right, let's bring up our third all-star and wrap this show up so everybody could start taking action. We're at 12:50. I'm a little over. We're going to keep it close, though. We're going to keep it tight. Next up is Mr. Clifton Pettyjohn. Great last name. He's a purpose strategist, author, transformation coach, spiritual leader, and host of the What Now podcast and Transformation Radio. Audience, give him a nice big round of applause. We're going to wrap up the all-star show. Mr. Pettyjohn, great last name. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am good. Thanks for being patient. I went a little over with my friend Paul, but I opened it up. I gave him kind of too much of an open-ended question there at the end, and I knew that we were going to bring on a couple other little tangents there, so I apologize. So let's get back on our personal improvement and growth segment portion. Ideology. What
awesome
do you want people to do as soon as they listen to this show?
As soon as they listen to the show, I want them to listen from a space of openness. I always tell people, and I did this the last month when I was on the show, I do this on my podcast, I do this anytime I have a talk or a teaching. I do the breathing exercise. We breathe in 2 times, we hold it. Why? Because the energy that you're giving to your past, the energy that you're giving to your future now becomes one with the energy of your now. And you can channel all of that energy into your now to produce a now that gives you a future full of promise. So that's what I want them to do. I just want them to listen from a space of openness.
And breathe. How many times do you want people to do that?
The breathing technique, I always talk about the breathing technique before you're going to make a major decision. I want you to breathe. When something seems to be, you feel like weight or pressure is coming at you, I want you to breathe. Whenever you feel overwhelmed, I want you to breathe. Sometimes we don't even realize how important breath is, because when our Creator created us, He created us to instinctively breathe. But what we don't realize is that breathing is a way of resetting ourselves. And it is very important that we reset ourselves. It's like a cell phone. If I don't charge my cell phone, it's going to die, which means that it still exists, because some of us look at death and say, oh, that means I'm not going to be here any longer. No, you still will be here, but you won't be present. When you recharge yourself through breathing, some do it through breathing, some do it through meditation, some do it through prayer, which I'm big on prayer, some do it whatever way it is, exercise. It's resetting yourself and bringing yourself back to present. And you cannot work on personal growth or development if you are not present with yourself.
I'm writing all this down. And I encourage other people, as they did in the beginning of the show, listen to these episodes on Tuesdays and Thursdays with a pen and paper, and listen to them multiple times, because you need it to. This is some really, really great information. The breathing thing, I've forgotten how important that is. I kind of got a little reminder when I went outside yesterday, as I was telling Paul, and I did some chores, which turned into so much more meaning than a quick little leaf blowing and hosing of a patio. It was almost like an experience, okay? Because there was so much meaning behind it and so much going on, and it literally shifted so many things. That was my personal improvement exercise. And I'm assuming that there was some sort of breathing technique that was there. I mean, obviously I was doing some heavy lifting, but it was, the breathing is important. And even if, like you said, it's something that you do in the morning, when you first get out of bed, or if you're talking about exercise or even prayer. Comment a little bit more, or just go a little bit deeper on the breathing, because you said it was about resetting. I want people to be able to implement that so they don't forget, because I forgot. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't do any of the things that you said in my normal routine. I'm putting them in now. So what other thing can we do to either like just like a checks and balances or something so that, you know, I mean, do you have to put a Post-it on your computer screen? I mean, what? Because it makes such a huge difference. So what, is there something else that you can, difference. I just want, it's almost like you got to hit people over the head, and myself included.
It's something you get used to. It's kind of like in my book, From Stagnation to Transformation, it's a 21-day coaching actuation. And the reason why I divide it into 21 days is because they say that it takes 21 days to break or reestablish a habit. Sometimes we don't have patience with ourselves. When we haven't become aware of our breathing techniques for a while, it's going to take a while for us to become aware of it. And I promise you, if you take a moment and just chart your breathing, you can tell what type of day you're having. If you sit still for a moment and your breathing is heavy, most of the time you're running, never taking time to relax a little bit, to ground yourself. I believe in grounding as well. I love grounding because it makes us become one with nature. And I believe that when we become one with nature, we're actually becoming one with all of God's creation. And I feel like that's the original way that God intended for us to be, where we were one with the entirety of creation. So sometimes I step outside, and I step outside barefoot, and I'm quiet. I'm just quiet because now I'm listening to my breathing. I'm focusing on my thoughts. And I actually have three things that I really want us to implement even when we're breathing. The first thing is that I want us to take time to really learn ourselves, I came to a space in life when I hit around the age of 30, and I realized that I had spent the bulk of my adult life doing things that other people expected me to do, or doing things that had become what was a custom and easy for me to do. And I did that from a space of making people happy and making sure that people were fulfilling their purpose. But I came to a reality one day that I didn't even know who I was. I didn't know my likes. I didn't know my dislikes. And this seems so simple, but sometimes it's the simplest things that can help us reset ourselves. I didn't know any of that. I remember even at times after a divorce, I was going out to restaurants and wondering, well, wait a minute, what do I want to eat? Because sometimes I had altered what I was going to eat based upon the person that I was with. So I had to take time to really begin to learn myself again. So that's the first thing that I believe that we have to learn how to rebreathe or learn how to breathe once again, because I promise you, if we spend a lot of time with people, if we were ever studied together, our breathing patterns are probably the same. And what we do sometimes is we pick up other people's breathing patterns, which also comes into picking up other people's identities, other people's thoughts, other people's belief systems, and we never take the time to reset and find out who we are. Just learning ourselves will help us as well learn how to pace our breathing a lot better. And I took that in every area of my life, even before the divorce. I remember working when I came out of high school. I went away to college. My mother got sick, and I came home. So I was going to school and working in the school district at the same time, okay? I remember the day when I realized this just isn't working for me anymore. But I didn't know what I wanted to do either. Like I found myself in a space like that's all I knew how to do. And I took it back to second grade because a teacher made a great impact on my life. And because that teacher made a great impact on my life, I said in second grade, I want to be a teacher. Now, I didn't allow my mind to be expanded beyond what we normalize teaching as. I just saw myself going to college, coming home, teaching, at the school. I didn't realize that I have the ability to teach in so many different ways. So I had to come. That was another great awakening for me, was that, yes, God gives us these gifts, talents, and abilities, but don't box those things in.
Oh, that's a great, great insight.
Yeah, I mean, we do it so much. I often, in my coaching sessions, I tell people, one of the first things I tell them to do is, okay, close your eyes. You're back in 4th grade. Your teacher is asking you, what do you want to be in life? And I said, remember, you're in 4th grade. You're not thinking about the cares of life. You're not thinking about your financial situation. You're not thinking about your education right now. You're not thinking about your current situation. You're in 4th grade. 4th grade, a lot of people wanted to be firefighters. They wanted to be professional athletes. Yeah. They wanted to be astronauts, doctors, lawyers, wanted to be so many things. Yes, because we allowed ourselves. We allowed ourselves to be open to the possibilities, and when we allowed ourselves to be open to the possibilities, we blocked out all of the outside noise and even the inner noise that told us that may not be possible. But when we grow up, sometimes we start to listen to the inside voice that we've allowed to develop that tells us, you can't, you can't, you can't. Maybe you should rethink this. Maybe you should rethink that, instead of sometimes just stepping out and trying it. It's not going to hurt us to try it. Sometimes we just have to get back to that childlike faith, I would say, that childlike dreaming, that childlike innocence, and just go for it. And I'm not saying just, abandon all of your responsibilities. I'm not saying go out and quit your job today. That's not what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. I'm definitely not saying that. But what I'm saying is...
Slow everybody's roll. Like, hold on, guys.
Listen, I can see people now writing their resignation letters. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is... Don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't catch that lottery ticket before you find out it's a joke. Yes. Yeah, don't be doing that, telling everybody what you really think, and then next thing you know, you got no job. Yeah, don't do that.
Right. Use that to fund your vision. Don't be so focused on your career. If you have bigger goals and objectives in lives, and some of you're going to have to relearn how to breathe so that you can remember those goals that you have, because we all were created and designed with greatness inside of us. If we really think about it, the creator of all creators created us. Do you think that the greatest creator of all time would create us with mediocrity? No.
Yeah, no
but
way,
sometimes
Jose.
We find ourselves... No, not at all.
No
we
way.
Find ourselves submitting to it.
Yeah, well, we question too, and that. But before we go to number 2, because I'm looking at 104, I want to try to keep it tight. And like I said, I always go over. Okay. No, I do this. That's what I wanted to be respectful of your time and the audience's time. And I tell them, if you want to fast forward through some sections, but if we're on something, I don't want to just say, okay, sorry, it's 1 o'clock, we got to go, folks. You know what I mean? It's like the Griswold, Moose out front should have told you park's closed. So I don't want to just end the show in the middle of a conversation. But you made me remember something, and I always get so much out of these segments. So I want to thank you for this. I just remembered in 2nd grade. Like you said, they asked you what you want to do, and I had we wrote it in a journal, so I actually have it written, and I've just got to find the journal in a pile of things and pull it out. But it was in 2nd grade, and I wrote down what I wanted to be. No, I totally forgot about it until just now.
Wow.
Just guess. Wow. Take a guess.
Let me see.
I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
It's an occupation that is, over the past couple months, has been in a hot topic on the media and in this country, but it's not politician.
Okay, it's not politician.
No.
So is it in the medical field?
No, never had a desire to do that. A vet for like an hour, but then I was like, I'm allergic to cats, so it's not going to work. Yeah.
Wow, let me see then. What's been a hot topic?
Pretty big position.
Media.
Pretty big now.
I'm sorry.
It's a job role. Pretty big description. It's pretty big. It's pretty big deal. Pretty big deal. I can't believe I forgot about this. I'm thinking there's some meaning behind it now. Not like I'd ever go do it. There's no way it would ever happen now. But all right, you want me to tell you?
Let me see.
I actually wrote this down in second grade. Second grade, you're what? 8, 7, 6? I don't know. Whatever a second grader is.
Somewhere around there.
Somewhere in that range. Supreme Court Justice. I actually wrote that down into my journal. I know, right?
Wow.
Crazy. So you just pulled that out of me out of nowhere because I honestly forgot that I said that. So I know that there's got to be some meaning behind it. So I think if people can think about that exercise for themselves, there's got to be something attached to what it was that you wanted to be then, and maybe it's something that you can, like you said, don't box yourself in with it, but there's something in that that let's call it a job description, something in that job description that is, some underlying meaning of a foundation of why you do things or what you really wanted to do. Now try to make it realistic for where we are today. Like, what am I going to do? Go to law school now and then be an attorney and a judge for 30 years and then get on the court? You know what I mean? But why do you, because I'm going to think about this today. I'm sure it has something to do with making sure that the truth is known, making sure that the rights are being right for the right people, and bad people get punished for doing bad things. So there's, I know it has something to do with that. And so I just want to say thank you for pulling that out of the earth, out of the depths of a cupboard that I literally have not thought about it for a long time. So let's do number 2 and number 3 real quick, and then we'll wrap up the show.
Okay. All right. Number 2 is be kind to yourself. And the reason why I say be kind to yourself is because a lot of times we don't realize how judgmental we are of ourselves. Even with decisions that we made, we have to begin to understand that the decisions that we made ultimately are still connected to our purpose. And there are things we can pull from them that are lessons we can learn that can help somebody else along the way as well. So you got to learn to stop being so judgmental of yourself and begin to see yourself beyond that space of judgment. And then number 3, and this is also without judgment, love yourself. Really begin to love yourself. If you can really begin to love yourself, then you begin to allow yourself to be open to the possibilities that you've never dreamt into or imagined. And as you were saying, even with the Supreme Court Justice thing, think about those things from childhood and how you can implement them in your lives. I wanted to be a teacher. Now what do? Not only do I teach children, but I teach families or whoever listens to my podcast, whoever signs up for my webinars, whoever listens to a talk I might do live. I have the ability to educate beyond the parameters that I once viewed teachers as. So take those limits off, tap into your creativity. I'm telling you, we are creative by nature, and sometimes we have looked and valued other people's creativity more than our own. And if you tap into that creativity, you can find yourself creating far beyond your dreams.
Wow. Powerful stuff. Powerful stuff. One question for you, since you did say you're big into prayer, and you literally sound exactly like T.D. Jakes. So I'm sure you get that a lot. So I'm just picturing that I'm interviewing T.D. Jakes. What's one Bible verse? Because I did the show with Pastor Dave Scarlett and the prophet Amanda Grace, and they were saying, in order to get back in touch with God, get your God on, you really need to read 1 chapter of the Bible a day, which is a lot for people, but we're going to ease people back into that as they're doing all these other things that are going to be implemented into their daily routine. What is one verse that people should know, that they really should have memorized? They can they can revert to, obviously not a long one because that's too much for people. 8 to 9 seconds is, the goldfish attention span. Which one do you suggest that they really get into that will help with personal improvement and growth, or just kind of that grounding and that breathing and that resetting?
Sure. Jeremiah 29:11, it says, "For I know the thoughts that I think towards thee, thoughts to give you a future and a hope." I'm reading from a different translation. But the reason why that scripture stands out to me is another translation says, "I alone know the thoughts or the plans that I think and have for you." And sometimes what happens is we attempt to plan things out based upon what's going on now, not understanding that God already foresaw all of this. So his thoughts and plans for us are higher than our thoughts and plans for us. And if we can really tune into that and grab hold of that scripture carries me everywhere that I go. When I'm not having a great day, when I was at my lowest of lows, I had to keep reminding myself that this is all a part of the plan of God. This is all a part of the will of God for my life. And if I can just open up my eyes or close my eyes so that I can see, because sometimes our eyes are too open for us to really see. So we have to close our eyes to begin to see the plan wrapped in within what we're going through.
Say it one more time. Jeremiah what?
Jeremiah 29:11.
29:11. And that was not Jeremiah, was a bullfrog. That is Jeremiah from the Bible, people. From the Bible. That's one of the books that we are going to pick up. We talked about reading people in the first segment with the All-Star Karen. She said reading. So we are going to read the book Jeremiah and 29:11, and we're going to read the book of the Bible. And I forgot that's what the prophet Amanda Grace and Pastor Dave Scarlett suggested to do. So see, I actually interviewed those people, and I forgot. That's what they told me to do, and I have it on my list. But for this conversation, so and you wonder why people don't do certain things, or they get distracted, or they get sidetracked, or that they don't realize that it's been so long since I did that. That's what we're doing here on this platform with your help, Mr. Petty John, great last name, is to remind people. That's why we're now on this month, this hardcore month of making things happen 5 days a week, that reminder, because everybody needs it. Everybody needs it. So we're just making it easy. We're making it easy. Give your contact information, plug your podcast real quick.
Sure. If you want to reach out to me, you can always reach me on my website, www.cliftonpettyjohn.com. Social media, you can just type in the name Clifton Pettyjohn and I will come up. And my podcast, you can visit the website at www.thewhatnowpodcast.me. .me, not .com, .me, all right? So thank you again for this opportunity.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I appreciate you providing some new insight, and I have a full page of notes, and thanks for pulling out this Supreme Court Justice. I even might have said the Supreme Court Justice, whoever the leader's name is. I think I even might have wrote that one down, that I needed to be the Chief Justice. So we're gonna find that journal. Mm-hmm. I might even have wrote that. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I know. There's got to be some crazy meaning behind that as somebody who's in second grade. So, Mr. Pettyjohn, thank you so much. I haven't got a chance to add your podcast to our must listen to page, but I will do it this weekend. So that way people can find you easily. They'll just click on your handsome face now. So thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. And you're fabulous, welcome. Fabulous partner. So thank you so much for all you do and all the people that you're helping. You're the best, man. You're the best.
You're welcome. Thank you. And you are the best as well.
Oh, see, now you can come back on. I just got to say one nice thing, and then I'll get there. They get another spot on the show. Doesn't take much with the show. Make sure you jump on for April. I don't see your name on there yet, so get on the book for April, my friend, and we'll talk to you then.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, sounds great. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Whoa, that was a pretty heavy episode, but I threw in some humor. I think everybody got a lot out of it. I hope you did. I did. I have a page and a half, almost 2 pages of notes, and that's only on the first listening round. So I just want to say a special thank you to our all-star partners of the Everything Home Socially Conscious Referral Network for kicking off the March Madness Maskless Month of Makeovers, Motivation, and Marketing. And that was our personal improvement and growth segment, special segment.